Idly sat in the tiny kitchen table, jiggling her leg and glancing over at the clock at the wall. The bright colors in the room which painted, beckoned with puppies, kittens, and smiley faces, seemed to mock her anxiety. This room, this house, was designed to be a haven of excitement and stimulation for small children who had passed through its doors each day. But now late in the afternoon, and with only adults present, it seemed just eerie, putting Adley in even more edge than she already would have been. "You said she took them out for a walk?" Adley asked, tried to keep the edge out of her voice. "Yes," said Susie, as she carefully transferred the one cookie from to another on a baking tray to a platter. "Netta did. Sometimes the spirit moves her." Adley shivered as she thought of Nita, the woman, unnaturally tall and pale as death. She'd never seen her anywhere other color than black. It was as if she was a changeling in the severity and sternness of nannies of old. In all, she gave Adelaide the creeps. "But she knew I'd be coming to pick up Kaylee up at 5 p.m., Adelaide said. "She did," Susie said. "Nita sometimes just loses track of time, that's all. She enjoys the children so very much." "Well, can you call her for me?" "Miss Collins," Susie said. "I assure you I spoke with her moments before you arrived, and even she was on her way back." Adelaide sighed and sunk further into her chair. Nothing Susie was saying, or indeed could say, would calm her down. She made up her mind then and thought that she would find a new daycare center, even if she had to miss work for that cause. Hopefully she could find one that wouldn't fill her with dread. "While you wait," Susie said, "please try a cookie." "A cookie?" One of the pile of misshapen-shaped lumps in Adley's stomach rebelled. "No, thank you." Susie's smile dropped. "Oh, please," she said. "It's a brand new recipe I'm trying out. There's a secret ingredient." As unappetizing as the cookies looked, Adley suddenly remembered how she skipped lunch for the sake of business meeting. Maybe that's why she was so anxious, she thought. Low blood sugar will kill you. "Well," she said, "all right, if you insist." She took the neatest-looking cookie from the top of the stack and had a bite. An explosion of flavor aligned with her tongue. It was warm and sweet, but with a hint of spice. Perhaps it was because she was starving, but in that moment, Adelaide would have sworn it was the best cookie she ever tasted. "These are marvelous," she said. "Thank you," Susie bowed her head. "I tell you, it's all about the secret ingredient." She turned and began wiping the counter with a rag. "It's a shame that the children aren't there to try them." Adelaide stopped chewing. The sweet taste in her mouth suddenly seemed sickly nauseating. "What did you say?" "I was merely saying the phrases of my new secret ingredient," Susie said without turning around. After that, Adelaide demanded. A chill ran up her spine. Beads of sweat broke out from her forehead. Susie finally turned and met Adelaide with a smile. "The children, they're not here." She paused for a moment in her eyes scanning Adelaide. "Is something wrong?" she asked sweetly. Adelaide was miles away. A horror movie out of terrifying proportions played itself in her eyes. Her precious Kaylee and another child, at first at play happy, then screaming and scrambling for their lives. How had Susie dispatched them all? A meat grinder? As if she searched up these cherry-coated cabinets and drawers, would she find the bloodied instrument of torture and death tucked away? She stared up from her seat and lunged towards Susie. Susie's eyes were wide with shock as she choked beneath Adelaide's firm grip. Adelaide's body slammed into her floor and then seized in her throat once again. With every word she spoke pounded Susie's head in the cabinet door behind her. "What did you do with my child?" Adelaide screamed. "She's walking with Nita." Susie's words came out as strained gurgles. She flailed uselessly with her arms, as Adelaide batted away at each attempt that the woman made to save herself. "You're lying, you evil bitch!" Adelaide tightened her grip on Susie's neck. "What about your secret ingredient? What is it? Tell me!" Susie choked and sputtered, but at least the truth came out. "Cinnamon!" Another chill overtook Adelaide. She dropped Susie against the cabinet. "What?" "Miss Collins!" The shocked voice came from behind. Adelaide turned to see Nita, tall and imposing, filling the kitchen doorway with her eyes were wide in terror. Before her stood their free child stroller, with the sounds of light fussing and infant babbling floating from it. "What on earth are you doing?" Nita demanded. "Oh my God!" Adelaide scrambled to her feet, a cold relief spilling down over her shoulders. "I am so sorry. I don't know what came over with me. I was so worried." Adelaide hurried to the stroller. Nita flattened herself against the wall as the woman came nearer. When Adelaide peered inside, she was overjoyed to the point of tears. There in the middle of the compartment was their precious Kaylee. She scooped the tot up with one fluid motion and pressed the child closer to her. "You're all right. You're all right," Adelaide practically sang as she bounced the child up and down. Her eyes landed on Susie, who was using the counter as a kitchen chair as leverage to climb her back up to her feet. "Susie," Adelaide said, "I'm so happy. I'm so sorry. I was absolutely sick with worry. And when you mentioned, well, I guess I got carried away with myself." "Indeed," Susie said breathlessly. She plunked herself into a chair and rubbed the front of her neck. "As if I waste your child on baked goods." Adelaide stopped bouncing. "I'm sorry?" Susie smiled. "I'm not a fool. Your Kaylee's in too good and plump. A porker like her deserves to be roasted." Another shiver seized Adelaide. Another sudden thought occurred to her. Turning back to the stroller, she saw that only one more of its three components remained unoccupied. There had been 2 other children when she dropped Kaylee off that morning. "What happened to the other little girl?" Adelaide asked. Her limbs began to quake. She searched for her name. "What was she called?" "I already told you her name," Susie snapped. "How could you forget such a stupid name as Cinnamon?" Adelaide's stomach dropped and Kaylee began to wail. The room began to spin. It had never steadied when Adelaide felt Nita grip her neck firmly from behind. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video. And I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.